We are back in business. Hello everybody and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode for the Canadian Grand Prix. A new Xbox means we can continue this series. I thought it was over in the previous one after I had some Xbox issues, but no, we can continue, and we are starting off on a good note. P2 in Q1, Romain Grosjean getting through easily as well, so we have some good pace here. Lance Stroll getting out of Q1 in the Williams, a great job by him at his home race. Latifi doing well at also his own home race, both Williams drivers from Canada, and both going well here, so Williams looking good this weekend. We move on to Q2 then, and we continue our form. Romain Grosjean not quite as solid in this one, but another P2 in this round of qualifying for us, and that we continue the pace that we've had so far this weekend. 2 racing points knocked out behind the Williams of Lance Stroll, so that's a real interesting one there. So Lance Stroll doing a great job, and Sergio Perez struggling for pace in that AlphaTauri, knocked out in 16th position, with Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon knocked out as well. We move on then into Q3, and now it's time to see what we really have as we come across to end our first lap in qualifying, and we go fastest for the moment, but we drop down to 4th position as more people now fit set their lap times, so we'll see if we can improve. So we go again. So here we are then, starting our second flying lap on the last new set of tyres that we have right at the end of the qualifying session, getting our lap started so we get the best possible track conditions. And now we'll see what we can do on this one, and if we can snag a front row, or more likely the first 2 rows is a realistic target for us. We don't quite have that edge to get those front row starts on a regular basis, but who knows, if we can get lucky, we might be able to do it. So here we go then, a bit deep there into that corner, into the second sector, and that's going to cost us a little bit of time. You can see red, but out of the hairpin we gain a ridiculous amount of time. We were half a second down as we cut to that shot there, and now we're ahead green. So I don't know what happened on our last lap at that part of the circuit, but as we head towards the Wall of Champions chicane, we are looking good to improve in our position through the chicane then, and now running towards the finish line. Where will we qualify for the Canadian Grand Prix? P3. Very, very decent indeed. Very happy with that.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Verstappen and the scientist. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So there we have it. 3rd position for us, a couple of tenths ahead of Romain Grosjean in 5th. So with Lewis Hamilton on pole, he really needs to get a move on in this championship. He's behind Matsushita at the moment, so yeah, he is really struggling in that Mercedes for reliability and overall pace this season, but a pole position is just what he needs to get his championship back on track, so we'll see how that goes for him. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo down a long way in this one, and we are in a good position to fight for the podium, so let's hope we can do that.
Bonjour, it's time once again to go racing here in Montreal, the 2nd largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and the scientist completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Grosjean, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Albon, Ocon, Sainz and Pierre Gasly. Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty. Norris, Lance Stroll and Joe, Matsushita, De Vries, Nicholas Latifi and Daniel Kvyat. Magnussen, Russell, Giovinazzi and Sergio Perez completes our grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Points on the board. We got a 1-2 last race, Grosjean taking the win there, but now Hamilton with grid penalty has elevated us onto the front row as we go to the 5 red lights. And away we go then for the Canadian Grand Prix. Verstappen gets away pretty poorly there on the inside line, gives us a bit of a squeeze on the run into the first corner. We squeeze him back slightly to the inside. He dives, but we have the nose in still through turn 2, and we're going to just about squeeze through there, get the power down, and we will take first position as we exit the first chicane. And now we just need to maintain this for the next 70 laps, and we will be a Grand Prix winner. But that is looking way too far into the future. You may have also noticed briefly on the weather forecast, you would have seen there is rain coming very, very soon. So the strategy will be pretty much the same for everyone, I think. We'll just run on these soft tyres until the rain comes, and then we'll know, who knows what's going to happen from there. But we will see when the time comes. But now we are struggling a little bit for pace in these opening phases, very deep into the hairpin. That's going to allow Verstappen to have a run on us as he looks to the inside, but he can't get the exit, and he is going to stick behind us for the time being. Meanwhile, Romain Grosjean has made his way up into third position as well, so he's made a great start. But as we continue on then, that's Grosjean, and the engine is smoking, and he is out of the race with a mechanical failure. And just as I said, he was doing well off the start, getting away from Valtteri Bottas, who's in fourth. Romain Grosjean retires with a mechanical failure. What a disaster for him and our entire team. That is a double podium position chance now out the window. But as you can see, we've moved on further into the race, and the rain is here now on lap number 11. It's not quite enough to call for the intermediate tyres just yet, but we're not going to be too far away at the rate this rain is falling. So yeah, we just need to be patient and wait for that time in the race, and we will be.
ETA on this rain clearing up is about 10 minutes, so just keep your concentration out there. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
It will be switching onto the tyres then, but yeah, still dries are the ideal tyre for the time being, as the rain is falling. So yeah, the track is getting noticeably slippery. The lap times are significantly falling away, so I can't imagine we're too far away from intermediate conditions. But we've really got away from Verstappen in this phase of the race, and now as we move on, it's time for the intermediate tyres. Just a couple of laps later, nice and easy into the pit lane. We don't want to go screaming into the pit lane 50 kilometers an hour too quickly in these wet conditions. So yeah, I thought I'd just take that nice and easy and make sure we get a stop for the line. We have the lead and the buffer to do that, so there's no need to search for the tenths and hundredths at this point in the race. So yeah, we'll just get back out on track and try and continue this form that we've had in the first half of this race. We're really pushing through that first stage, and knowing the rain was coming, we didn't really have anything to lose in terms of working the tyres. So we continue on then through this wet phase of the race, and not a significant amount of action, and it is not long until we go back to the dry tyres. Medium tyres going on in this one again, taking it nice and easy on the way into pit lane, and getting a stop nicely just there right before the line. So it might be a touch too early, but I'd rather actually be a little bit early on this one than a bit late, because Verstappen has caught up, and an undercut or an overcut is not going to be possible if we stayed out longer. But Verstappen's in as well, so that is good news. That means we did pretty much nail the timing of this. Jeff didn't actually give me the call to come into the pits I sort of made the decision on my own. I felt like it was just barely dry enough, so I thought I'd just go for it, and it seems that was the right call as Verstappen followed us in. So yeah, that was really good timing to make that decision. I could feel over the previous few laps the conditions and the grip improving, so yeah, I decided to take that risk and hope that it paid off. But thankfully it did for us, and we are not going to be stuck out on the wrong tyres, as now the DRS is re-enabled. So there's the proof that we made the right call on this lap, defending from Verstappen there, though, as he had a bit of a run, as we're not quite confident yet on these slick tyres on a slightly damp track. You can see as we move on through the race, though, the sun back out now, and the safety car is out, and that is Alexander Albon retiring from the race with a mechanical failure, holding up Lance Stroll, who was driving a brilliant race. He would have been knocking on the door of the top 10, but that's cost him a few positions there, as he got a little bit caught up behind Albon, as Albon was slowing just on the edge of the racing line there. And we're actually going to pit under this safety car to put the soft tyres on. They're not going to last till the end of the race, but I'm thinking that everyone else has a stop to go, so if we pit now and put the soft tyres on, we're only going to drop a few positions. The predictor said we'll come out in 4th, so if we can do that, and it looks like we're going to, we will be right on the money for a decent result in this one, to be able to pass these cars very easily on the soft tyres, stretch away, and then we won't be under threat from any kind of undercut if we can get a buffer to the cars around us. So that's why I went for this, assuming that we can make these few overtakes on the safety car restart and stretch away. Then we won't need to worry about an undercut by Verstappen and Bottas, because they had closed up previously. But anyway, the safety car accelerates away from the field, and we are left in the wake of the cars ahead to try and get the best restart we can. Daniel Ricciardo has made a good recovery in this one, up into 3rd position as things stand. We get going for the safety car restart, and we're not quite close enough to Ricciardo to make anything of it. So it is as we were in the top 4, Verstappen, Bottas, myself, sitting behind Daniel Ricciardo in 3rd. And now on the back straight, we're going to have a decent run here on Ricciardo. We're going to have a look to the inside. Ricciardo defends. We go to the outside and we head towards the Wall of Champions. We're going to try and go around the outside here. Late on the brakes, Ricciardo gives us a good old squeeze in the fight through there, but we will get the move done with the soft tyres. We just have the grip advantage. Ocon now trying to make the move on Ricciardo, but I think the Red Bull should have the grip to hold that position through this first chicane. This entire track is made of chicanes. But yes, we made the move on Ricciardo there, made it work, made it count. And now we can focus on Valtteri Bottas, run a little bit deep into the hairpin, try and straighten up the exit. And now we should be in the slipstream of Valtteri Bottas and trying to make the move as we head down towards the Wall of Champions chicane. Once again, DRS open, and in the slipstream of Bottas, having a little look to the inside. Are we going to be able to get close enough here as we go down the inside? Bottas doesn't quite leave us the space I thought he might, but we do get a better exit and still get the move done. I was a little bit cautious there. I wasn't sure how aware Bottas was that I was there. He did actually leave more of a space than I thought, but maybe not as much as I would have liked, if that makes sense. But anyway, we got the move done nonetheless on the exit as we run deep into this back chicane, and that's cost us a bit of gap to Verstappen there, as you can see, driving away from us. But on to this hairpin, we're going to try and set up a good exit here, keep it really tight on the line, get the power down, and now we'll see if we can chase down Max Verstappen along the back straight. We've had really great straight line speed, and it looks like we're going to have the same here as we get the DRS open, closing very rapidly on Max Verstappen. He defends, but there's nothing he can do as we go screaming around the outside, hard on the brakes, and we go bouncing over the curbs to try and get this move done. And we will just about do it, but Verstappen coming back at us along the next straight as we run side by side towards the first corner, and we'll get the move done on Max Verstappen and get through into the lead of this race. Now we need to pull away while the tyres are still good, and we can respond to the undercut when they try to make it, and that has already happened as we move on, and we are in the pit lane to cover them off. So here we go then, new tyres onto the car mediums. That will take us to the end of the race, and that is Pierre Gasly driving past us. We don't need to worry about him. He is off, and he needs to make another stop in this one, and we are out ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen. Bottas has actually jumped Verstappen in all that, so Bottas is up into second effectively in this race, as Gasly still needs to make a pit stop. We catch up to the Frenchman though before he makes that final stop of his, and we're going to get the move done along the straight here, surely, with the DRS and a bit of the overtake mode deploying as well. To the outside we go, and we get the move done easy on Pierre Gasly there, and get through the chicane nicely as Gasly comes into the pits on that lap, and he actually got very close to our rear end on his way into the pit lane. Here's the replay, and it was a bit hard to see exactly how close it was from that angle, but he made that decision to pit from the inside line there, which could have been yes, he backed out of it to make sure he didn't make contact, but he still sent it into the pit lane late on the brakes there from Gasly, and this is the angle that sort of shows it a bit looking a little bit more aggressive there, but yeah, that was lucky that we weren't any further back and weren't any slower in a straight line there, but Gasly seemed to have that all under control. Meanwhile though, Valtteri Bottas has closed up to us as we're heading into the final stages of this race. Bottas down the inside, bit of contact between us, and we give him a squeeze on the apex in return, and we will hold on to the position, but Bottas getting feisty now in the closing stages. Here's the onboard with the fin, and you can see gives us a real squeeze on the way into the corner there, that little slight right-hander before we get into turn 1, but we are not deterred. We squeeze him on the apex, and we are able to hold on. We continue on then further and further into this race, and we are now just 5 or 6 laps away from the end of the race, and we are just cruising at this point. We got the gap out to Bottas as we have a bit of an issue there in the chicane, but no cars around us, so we're not going to lose anything significant there. But yeah, we've got the DRS broken, the gap out to Bottas, so we don't need to worry about that so much.
Position, front of the pack. Bottas is behind you. The gap to the car behind is 1.8 seconds.
Yeah, 1.8 seconds, a few mistakes costing us time there, but as we continue on then to the penultimate lap, Bottas is actually closed up again as we made a bit of a mistake there, and a few others previously, and now we're going to need to be careful as we head on to the final lap. This race is far from over. That Mercedes has been very quick through the corners, but not so much on the straights. You can see how much he dropped away in the acceleration zone there alone. That is insane. So we have so much power in our engine, it seems, in this one, and that's definitely saving us from Bottas as we go clambering over the curbs there again at the final chicane. But Bottas through the wall of champion chicane very quick, and he's going to have another look to the inside on the final lap. We give him a little bit of space in case he wanted to stick the nose in, but he was not close enough to really do anything there. So we are we are losing time to Bottas, but he needs to get a good exit out of the hairpin. That is the only way he's going to be able to get the lead here, unless he can make a move through the middle sector, which is very unlikely. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does as we continue on. Bottas has got a bit of a run here, but it's not enough. This straight just isn't long enough for him to do anything there, so his only opportunity left as we go bouncing over those curbs once again, just running really deep, pushing very hard in this one, but Bottas just hasn't quite got it to do anything about it at this point. We'll see if he can get a good exit here. We're really focusing on trying to get a good exit there, keeping the car tight on the right hand side, and trying to launch off the corner as fast as we can, and that seemed to have saved us there, and I think we're going to do it. Bottas isn't close enough, so as we head towards the wall of champions chicane for the final time. Grosjean was able to get our first win last time out in Azerbaijan, but we get one of our own here in Canada. We're going to cross the line to win the Canadian Grand Prix.
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
And that is a huge result, not just for the constructors, but for our own Drivers' Championship as well.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
So finally it is a race win for us in this My Team career. Valtteri Bottas finishes a strong second place with Max Verstappen in third in his Ferrari.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Daniel Ricciardo grabs the top spot with both hands. He now leads the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Well, I certainly didn't have any complaints with Kevin Magnussen's performance today. Incredible driving.
Let's move on to the constructors. Red Bull take over as championship leaders. Meanwhile, good work from the owner drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
K-Mag in the points. Fair play. But, wow. Third in the Drivers' Championship, now just 17 points behind Ricciardo, and there's nothing really between himself and Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, this race has really... and the last, of course, really put us in title contention now, proper, as we now have a car that can compete for these, regular high-end points. Yeah, that really couldn't have gone any better on our side of the garage. Unfortunately, Grosjean wasn't able to be up on the podium with us. I mean, he was ahead of Bottas, pulling away from Bottas in the opening phases, so he very well could have won this race if he didn't have that failure. With his pace, he would have had to double stack in the rain, which, yeah, that wouldn't have been great. But nonetheless, very disappointing to see him drop out of the order there. And yeah, that was an unfortunate one, but still a great result for us. A lot of points for the constructors as well for that win. So I can't really complain too much. It just would have been good to see Grosjean up there with me. But anyway. Continuing on, though, we are heading to what is it, Silverstone? No, France next. Silverstone's not for a while, so home race for Grosjean. So maybe, just maybe, he can have some better luck there at his home event. It seems that drivers at their home circuits do seem to get some kind of a morale and a bit of a form boost, if you like. Romain Grosjean, his home race is next, but as you saw in this one, Latifi and Stroll were doing very well in qualifying. I mean, maybe this track just suits the Williams, but it's definitely been a thing in the games in the past. Sergio Perez, was always very, very good in Mexico, in F1 2019, and so on. So it will be interesting to see how it goes next time out, and if that trend continues.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win?
It was far from comfortable. The weather conditions were quite tricky to manage, midway through the race. And, of course, Bottas closing in at the last lap was quite scary as well.
Do you think this team are performing as well as they could do?
Yeah, Mercedes, they really haven't been. Their reliability, it doesn't seem is really there for them.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire. Alright then, that is the end of the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, and we continue to lead our rivalry. Team Acclaim, and money comes rolling in after that one, and we have a lot in the bank now. We have almost $10 million, but not enough to go for any facility upgrades because Romain Grosjean is quite expensive to re-sign. So yeah, we're not going to go spending all of that until after mid-season when we re-sign Grosjean. Then we'll go ham and get some facility upgrades if we can afford them. But yeah, as for the rest of this video activity timeline, we're going to go for the funded team event and get more acclaim rolling in. We're just going to go full ham on acclaim. Is full ham the right phrase? I genuinely have no idea if... No, I think it's just go ham, not full ham. Yeah, we're going to go ham with the acclaim and try and get that boosted up as high as we can. And, more acclaim means better sponsors, more sponsors, and so on. And we'll be able to upgrade our facilities with more money rolling in, hopefully. And, yeah. hopefully that will happen. But yeah, we're also going to go with the HQ tour and of course simulator training, keep Grosjean's stats as high as they can possibly be so he can get the best results he is capable of. As for R&D, this was actually recorded just after practice, and when we got all those resource points, then we go for the major DRS upgrade, as we have some good overtaking tracks coming up soon, with the likes of Silverstone, with DRS very important there. But invitational event, let's go.
Here we are then, the calm before the storm, as we wait for this field of iconic cars to burst into life for the historic invitational event today. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be here, and welcome along to all of you at home as well. So grab a cup of tea and get ready as our competitors make their final preparations.
So here we are then, invitational event, an overtaking challenge to do in the 1996 Williams, racing against a bunch of 88 McLarens, I believe they are. So that is the target, to overtake the 4 of them over the course of the next 3 laps. So let's hope that we can manage that, and we'll get a bunch of team and driver acclaim and money rolling in rather. So here we go then, 5 red lights and away we go for the invitational event. Bit of a slow getaway, but no harm done. We should still be able to catch up. This car should be faster than all the ones we are racing against. So here we go then, look up the inside, bit of contact made, and we do get through on the first of the McLarens just there. We continue on, a little bit of an off track, but don't worry about it too much, as we give the second one a bit of a nudge. He loses control after that, and we make that move on the second one.
That move was reckless. We're lucky not to have been penalised.
What are you talking about? He lost control. He just spun out on his own. No idea what you're talking about, Jeff. Down the inside of the third McLaren, and that's actually a pretty nice move in the end. No contact made, missing the apex a little, but now don't worry about that too much, and that move is done. Now down the inside of the final one, and mirror mirror on the wall, that's the fairest of them all, I'm pretty sure you'll find. And cutting corners, is that what I'm getting a penalty for there? Sure. Nice move there, got it done, crossed the line, invitational event done, and we will get all the driver and driver acclaim and money that we deserve from that, apparently, as we go on to the end screen, as we skip past this thingy, and there we go. Past, driver acclaim, money rolling in, it's all good. Now, on to R&D again. We can't actually afford anything, so yeah, that is it. So yeah, there is not a lot left to cover in this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought, and I will see you next time for the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard. It should be a good one, so looking forward to it. I'll see you then. Goodbye.